Here are today's headlines. Tropical depression Bashang leaves passengers stranded and families threatened with rains and floods in Visayas and Mindanao. The Office of the Ombudsman terminates the plunder complaint against President Rodrigo Duterte. Business leaders in Hong Kong commend the reforms of the Duterte administration. And the faithful are urged to find the meaning of love as Catholics celebrate Ash Wednesday on Valentine's Day. Good day, I'm William Theo. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. Over 500 families were affected while thousands of passengers were stranded as tropical depression Bashang made its way through parts of Visayas and Mindanao. Pag-asa also warned of possible flooding caused by rains brought about by Bashang. Here is our report.
Tropical depression Bashang has traversed the provinces of Surigao and Agusan del Norte and stranding a total of 2,704 passengers, 366 rolling cargos, 62 vessels, and 3 motor bangkas in various ports in northern Mindanao, eastern and southern Visayas. Pag-asa issued a flood warning on Tuesday over eastern Visayas provinces as Bashang dumped heavy rain since Monday afternoon. In its flood advisory, Pag-asa said rivers in Leyte, Samar, northern and eastern Samar, southern Leyte, and Biliran province would likely be affected by heavy downpour. The Department of the Interior and Local Government identified 2,433 villages in Region 8 as highly susceptible to flooding and urged local governments to conduct appropriate preparedness and disaster risk reduction measures. In other developments, around 528 families or 1,829 persons were affected by strong rains and floods as Tropical Storm Bashang continues to threaten northeastern Mindanao. The National Disaster Risk Reduction Management Council said those affected are residents of 13 barangays in Caraga region. Pag-asa said sea travel remains risky over the seaboards under tropical storm warning signals, as well as the seaboard of northern Luzon and Visayas and eastern seaboards of central Luzon, and the eastern and southern seaboards of southern Luzon, and the northern and eastern seaboards of Mindanao. Small fishermen were advised not to venture into fishing for their safety. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Philippine Cervantes.
The Department of Justice is confident that the crimes against humanity complaint lodged against President Rodrigo Duterte before the International Criminal Court will not prosper. The government is ready to prove that the ICC has no jurisdiction over extrajudicial killings. Here is our report.
Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II said a case lodged before the International Criminal Court in connection with the legality of the Duterte administration's war on drugs will not fly, after the ICC decided to conduct preliminary examination on President Rodrigo Duterte's drug war based on the complaint filed by Jude Sabio, lawyer of self-confessed Davao Death Squad member Edgar Matobato. The DOJ chief said the government would soon designate a lawyer who will represent them at the ICC, adding that the Duterte administration would be absolved of the allegations. The Office of the President has earlier received notification that the ICC would conduct a preliminary examination into the allegations against Duterte and 11 other government officials. According to Eric D., spokesperson of the Office of the Solicitor General, the ICC cannot replace the country's national courts and that the country has laws to handle such issues. Sabio has filed a complaint in April last year before the ICC in The Hague, Netherlands, claiming that Duterte allegedly violated the articles of the Rome Statute through committing mass murder or extrajudicial executions during his term as Davao City Mayor and now President of the Philippines through his aggressive campaign against illegal drugs. International Criminal Law Prosecutor Fatou Bensouda said the examination will be conducted in order to determine whether the ICC has jurisdiction over the matter. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Bench Bondo.
Cagayan Province, through its Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council, is set to participate in the first quarter nationwide simultaneous earthquake drill on February 15. The activity is organized by the Office of the Civil Defense, and all local government units in the country were encouraged to participate. The PDRRM office was tasked to lead the conduct of the activity in Cagayan in collaboration with the Bureau of Fire Protection. They are also set to lead the quarterly fire and earthquake drills in schools in the province to ensure students are ready in case of fire or earthquake. Meanwhile, Isabela Provincial Administrator Noel Manuel Lopez said the provincial government gratefully acknowledged the contributions of each PDRRMC member that resulted in 0 casualty after the 4 typhoons that hit the province in previous months. Lopez appealed to PDRRMC members to continue their support to ensure every Isabelino safe in times of calamities. The new industry roadmap of the country's electronics sector is pushing for investments in infrastructure to support the growth of the industry. The Semiconductor and Electronics Industries in the Philippines Foundation Incorporated, or SAPI, said the country needs to attract investments in integrated circuit or IC design center, lab-scale wafer fabrication, and research and development laboratory. These recommendations are contained in the electronic industry's new roadmap dubbed Product and Technology Holistic Strategy, or PATHS. SAPI President Dan Lachica said a design center increases the opportunity for design startups and students to access IC design. Lachica noted that the lack of facilities holds back the industry from producing new products like 3D printers and smartphones. Lachica said the academe must also align the skills of the country's pool of talents to the needs of the industry by improving the engineering curriculum. The industry group also urges multinational companies here to increase the share of local content in their facilities. The provincial government of Pangasinan is all set for the inauguration and blessing of its newly completed Pangasinan Reformation Center on February 28. The construction of the Reformation facility, which sits on 2 hectares of donated land in Barangay San Vicente in Burgos, is in line with the province's continuing war on drugs, which has led to the voluntary surrender of some 19,000 drug personalities. Retired Philippine Navy Colonel Carlos Resurreccion, head of the Secretariat of the Provincial Anti-Drug Abuse Coordinating Council, was designated as overall in charge of the center. The center will give in-house aftercare training to drug surrenderers who have undergone community-based rehabilitation program. The center will be operational on March 7 when it admits the first batch consisting of 50 surrenderers. Resurrection said the center will focus on livelihood training for the surrenderers as an aftercare intervention to help them sustain the needs of their families. He emphasized that going to the Provincial Reformation Center is voluntary on the part of the drug surrenderers. Still to come, the Office of the Ombudsman terminates a plunder complaint against President Rodrigo Duterte. Business leaders in Hong Kong commend the reforms of the Duterte administration. These and more when the PNA Newsroom continues.
Mga kabayan, magandang umaga, welcome home!
Napakasaya namin na makita na naman kayong lahat na nandito muli sa Pilipinas at makakapiling ang mga mahal nyo sa buhay. Umpisahan nyo na.
Gusto lang po naming sabihin na wag po kayong mag-alala kasi yung buong gobyerno po, buong pamahalaan po ni President Duterte ay nandito para tulungan kayo. Ang DFA po kasama ang DOLE through OWA at ang DSWD, nandito po kaming lahat para tulungan kayo para muling magsimula sa inyong buhay dito sa Pilipinas.
Sobrang saya namin po, super talaga. Thank you so much, Pangulong Duterte. Hindi ka namin makalilimutan talaga, sobrang saya namin po.
The Filipino is no slave to anyone, anywhere and ever. Every unlawful physical injury that is inflicted on an OFW is an injury I personally bear as the head of this republic.
The Office of the Solicitor General revealed that the plunder case filed against President Rodrigo Duterte before the Ombudsman has already been terminated. The OSG said this means that questions over the Duterte family's alleged ill-gotten wealth are no longer valid. Here is our report.
The plunder case filed by Senator Antonio Trillanes IV against President Rodrigo Duterte has already been closed and terminated. Solicitor General Jose Calida was referring to the plunder case filed by Trillanes against the president in May 2016 over allegations of the former Davao City Mayor's unexplained wealth and undeclared bank accounts. The Solgen says he received a letter from former overall Deputy Ombudsman Melchor Carandang stating that the probe has already been closed and terminated. The recommendation to terminate was approved by Deputy Ombudsman Cyril Ramos in November last year. Calida questions the move of Ombudsman Conchita Caprio Morales to withhold from the public the status of the case and says the public should know that Trillanes' allegations are without merit because of the termination of the complaint. The government's top lawyer also says the Senate should stop the hearing about the president's unexplained wealth and undeclared bank accounts considering it is based on the complaint filed before the Ombudsman. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
Some 10,000 workers and evacuees affected by Mayon volcano are expected to benefit from the 60 million peso livelihood and emergency employment assistance of the Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III said that 30 million pesos had been set aside for emergency employment under the Tulong Panghanap Buhay sa Ating Disadvantaged Displaced Workers, or TUPAD. The other 30 million was for the livelihood assistance to evacuated workers' families. Last week, the DOLE chief led the payout of about 10 million pesos to almost 4,000 worker beneficiaries under the TUPAD program. The DOLE Bicol Regional Office is also looking at a second batch of TUPAD beneficiaries so that assistance can be extended to other evacuees through short-term income support. On the other hand, families of active overseas Filipino workers affected by Mayon volcano's eruption were provided with 3,000 pesos worth of assistance from the Overseas Workers Welfare Administration, or OWA. The families of inactive OFWs have received 1,500 pesos. Business leaders in Hong Kong lauded the Duterte administration for implementing reforms that make investing more attractive in the Philippines. Here is our report.
According to the Hong Kong Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines Incorporated, reforms on the tax system and bureaucracy implemented by the Duterte administration helped to establish a better business environment in the Philippines. HKCCPI President Anthony Chan said the lower personal and corporate income tax rates under the Comprehensive Tax Reform Program of the administration is boosting the country's attractiveness to investors. Chan also praised the current administration's effort to eliminate corruption, which encourages investment and job creation, but still hopes that the Philippine Congress will pass the bill that would ease doing business in the country. A Forbes magazine article published earlier this month said Filipinos were better off under this administration, citing the Gallup survey that the percentage of Filipinos who consider their lives thriving since President Rodrigo Duterte took office increased to 28% in 2017 from 26% in 2016. International Chamber of Commerce Philippines founder Francis Chua agrees that the high approval rating of President Duterte in various surveys suggests that the lives of Filipinos were in better condition in the past 2 years. Chua said the local business environment was also better off in this administration, noting the increasing number of projects registered with the investment promotion agencies in the country. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Janice Cave.
It's all systems go for the much-awaited grand parades of the Baguio Flower Festival, or Panagbunga, on February 24 and 25. Councilor and Festival Executive Committee Chair Elmer Datwin assured that all aspects of the preparation are being laid out, particularly the security, traffic, and the main event. The twin said even the utility companies were advised to ensure a stable water supply on the peak days of tourist arrivals, which are expected to double starting February 23. The council is also making sure that the city's garbage would be collected and transported to the engineered sanitary landfill in Urdaneta, Pangasinan. The twin is confident that tourists will have more fun this year, with the street dancing and the float parades made even grander than the last. He advised visitors to use either public transport or carpooling inside the city during the festival to avoid traffic jams. The Panagbunga started on February 1 and will end on March 4. Some 5,000 student athletes, education, and technical officials from the 9 schools in the region gathered in North Upi, Maguindanao for the week-long Palarong Arma 2018. The regional palaro of the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao Athletic Association runs from February 12 to February 16 at the Nuro Central Elementary School. According to Rasol Mitmug Jr., newly appointed DepEd ARMM Secretary, this year's palaro focuses on the active development and transformation of the region's young athletes. He also said that the athletes gathered not only to display their physical abilities, but also to show that through sports there can be peace and common aspiration. Athletes will compete in major sports such as arnis, basketball, boxing, chess, football, sepak takraw, swimming, and wrestling. Winners from the sporting events will proceed and compete at the Palarong Pambansa in Ilocos Sur. The Palarong Arma is an annual athletic event involving student athletes from the cities of Marawi and Lamitan and the provinces of Lanao del Sur, Maguindanao, Basilan, Sulu, and Tawi-Tawi. Up next, the Department of Justice looks into the criminal complaint against officials involved in the Dingvaksha controversy. The faithful are urged to find the meaning of love as Catholics celebrate Ash Wednesday on Valentine's Day. These and more when the PNA Newsroom returns.
Ito ang gusto ko, total pera naman ng tao, to observe editorial independence through innovative programs and intelligence treatment, analysis of reports, as well as the development of national and international significance.
From February 19 to 21, 2018, the Presidential Communications Operations Office will launch the National Information Convention to strengthen partnership between the private and public sector, encourage communicators to influence for the common good, and to organize a movement to motivate society towards nation building. With over 1,500 communication practitioners participating in 3 days of intense communication courses. The National Information Convention, spurring national development and empowering communities through information. February 19 to 21, 2018 at the SMX Convention Center, SM Lanang, Davao City.
The Department of Justice, or DOJ, is set to determine whether former President Benigno Aquino III and the officials involved in the Dengvaxia vaccine controversy should face criminal charges. Here is our report.
A preliminary probe will be conducted by the Justice Department on the criminal complaint lodged against former President Benigno Aquino III and other officials in connection with the controversial anti-dengue vaccine, Dengvaxia. DOJ Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II says the complainants are up to prove the criminal liabilities of the respondents during the hearings. Aguirre adds the complaint filed by the Vanguard of the Philippines Incorporated, or VPCI, and the Volunteers Against Crime and Corruption, or VACC, is independent of other possible complaints to be filed by other parties on the same controversy. Aside from Aquino, former Budget Chief Lorenzo Butch Abad, former Health Secretary Janet Garin, and other health officials and employees of Dengvaxia supplier Zualig and manufacturer Sanofi Pasteur were named as respondents. The VPCI and VACC claim procurement of the Dengvaxia was irrefutably fast-tracked and may have transgressed pertinent provisions of the government procurement law. A total of 830,000 children and 30,000 more, including members of the Philippine National Police, received doses of Dengvaxia. They insist those involved in the issue should stand trial for criminal negligence. For the PNA Newsroom, I'm Rom Dulfo.
A Catholic prelate reminded the faithful to celebrate true love which comes from Jesus Christ, who died on the cross to redeem the sins of mankind. Lingayen Dagupan Archbishop Socrates Villegas made the statement as Filipinos celebrated February 14 Valentine's Day and Ash Wednesday, which marks the start of the 40-day Lenten season. Archbishop Villegas noted that February 14 is a good day to reflect on the real meaning of love, as two occasions are happening on the same day. He said Ash Wednesday falling on Valentine's Day gives everyone a good reason to reflect into the true meaning of love. Villegas added that love is best expressed through sacrifice like fasting and abstinence, praying in silence and solitude, and selfless giving. Senior citizens and persons with disabilities of Barangay Poblacion Burgos, Ilocos Norte received a Valentine's Day treat of grocery packs given by the local leadership through its Handog Mula sa Puso program. Poblacion Village Chief Joji Jimenez said that the simple gift-giving project funded by the village is a way of expressing love and care for the 160 senior citizens and 38 persons with disabilities in the barangay. Village officials will also spearhead the Barangay Hataw Sports Fitness Program to promote health and wellness even to the youth. In a related development, Fred Hamorabon, a Good Samaritan from California, will be giving away various clothing items to the less fortunate 115 indigents in the barangay. Kidapawan City is looking to get a shot at a new world record for the most number of samba dancers in one setting during its 20th charter anniversary. Here is our report.
In 2016, Kidapawan City broke the world record for the largest number of cha-cha dancers in one venue. This time, this city attempted to break another Guinness World Record for the largest samba dance in one setting as part of its 20th charter anniversary celebration. Some 8,500 pairs of samba dancers, led by Kidapawan City Mayor Joseph Evangelista, performed the largest samba dance during a showdown along the 3-kilometer stretch of the Maharlika National Highway, attempting to break the world record. The dancers consisted of students from all levels, village and city officials, employees, and senior citizens, with a total number of 14,275, joined the cha-cha dance in August 2016 along the same highway. The city is awaiting the result of validation conducted by a team from the Guinness Book of World Records. Kidapawan City dislodged Edgefield Primary School in Singapore, which only had 3,379 participants in the cha-cha attempt for the Guinness Book of World Records. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Joy San El Rocamora.
Tropical Depression Bashang remains weak as it moves westward away from the country. Pag-asa says Bashang was last seen moving away from Dumaguete City. Bashang is affecting Palawan, southern Negros Oriental and Negros Occidental and Zamboanga del Norte with light to moderate with at times heavy rains that may cause flash floods or landslides. The trough of Bashang will bring cloudy skies with scattered rain showers and thunderstorms over the Bicol region, Calabarzon, Agusan del Norte, Dinagat Islands, Surigao del Norte, and Surigao del Sur. Meanwhile, the northeast monsoon will continue to bring cold temperatures and isolated rain showers. Let's take a look at the weather forecast in Metro Manila and the rest of the country. Let's take another look at today's headlines. Tropical depression Bashang leaves passengers stranded and families threatened with rains and floods in Visayas and Mindanao. The Office of the Ombudsman terminates a plunder complaint against President Rodrigo Duterte. Business leaders in Hong Kong commend the reforms of the Duterte administration. And the faithful is urged to find the meaning of love as Catholics celebrate Ash Wednesday on Valentine's Day. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. To check out these and other stories, visit the PNA website or follow the Philippine News Agency on Facebook and Twitter. For more stories about the government and all that it is doing for the Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. And a little thought from us on Valentine's Day: let us always share and give love, not only today but for the rest of the year, because it is through love that we can attain true and lasting peace. And that's your daily dose of the hottest news and the latest information that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. I'm William Theo. Good day.